Hi, I'm Vince Neil. Blast off to the music universe.
Oh, Matt, we got our hearts kick-started with Vince Neil of Motley Crue for this episode.
Yes, we did. And it's so early where you are because he's in London. It's so early where you are that your house full of girls is still asleep.
Pretty much, but I'll get my Dr. Feelgood later
That's
this
Dr.
afternoon.
Pepper. That's Dr. Pepper. Don't read into that.
There we go. Later this afternoon and get wide awake and, but this was exciting. This was an exciting one to be up early for because, it's Vince freaking Neil.
It really is. And he breaks some news with us about some new Motley Crue music, which is really, really cool. And we'll let him tell you that, but it's not just Dogs of War, but that's the only tease you're getting. Buddy, don't start on a rant here because I know you're super excited about what he tells us. But
Yes.
The reason he is with us is because he's a guest judge on the series Bandit on Access TV, the musician competition, which airs their finale tonight, Saturday, July 1st. We're dropping this as a surprise episode because I think it fits. Motley surprise announced that show at that club called Dogs of War. We're dropping a surprise episode. I think it's really cool. So here's Vince Neil and a lot of cool Motley news. Rock God Vince Neil, welcome to the music universe. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Well, we're great. We're thrilled to be talking with you. You are a part of the show Bandit on Access TV. Really cool concept. Talk to me about how you got involved with the show and about how you got involved with the show and what you really like about it.
It was just a guy that who's my banker actually told me about the show and said he was and asked me if I would interested in working with the Bandit show, and I said of course I would. And I went down there and met everybody, and it seemed like a really cool idea, with the bands writing their own songs and performing them. I mean, because there's no other bands, no other shows like that, and I thought it was just a great idea.
Yeah, so I know in the series premiere, which aired back in May, 25 contenders were put together and multi-genre bands. I mean, was that kind of, that's definitely a different concept than what we're used to as far as reality TV music goes.
Yeah, it is. That's what really interested me, and I thought that was really cool. And when I went there and heard some of the bands play, and they wrote some good songs, and it's like, wow, this is really neat.
It's really cool. When you go into and look to mentor, to judge with something like this, what are you looking for as an expert, obviously?
Yeah, well, I wasn't a mentor, but I was a judge, but I was just looking for great songs, great riffs, great choruses. That's what you usually look for in like a hit song. And that's what I was really looking for. That's what you got to look out for.
Yeah. And what happens with the winner?
Well, the winner gets a recording contract. And I think that's pretty cool right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a Motley Crue, right? Because they just put everybody together and then suddenly they work together and now they're becoming, a band.
Yeah, you're living together in some mansion, and you're basically working every day, with your mentors to teaching you how to do this and how to put song structure together and things like that. And that's pretty neat. You can get into that kind of environment, a music friendly environment of just writing and being being the best you can be. So I thought that was neat.
Very cool. Well, speaking of music, we know you guys are teasing, and again, I think this will air after that special event. What exactly is Dogs of War? We're hearing a lot of rumors. about what that is. What can you tell us?
Well, we went in the studio not too long ago, about 6 months ago, and recorded 3 new songs. And one of them is called Dogs of War.
Mhm.
And we're doing a show tomorrow night at a club here in London called Dogs of War. And I guess the word got out is it sold out in less than a minute.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool though. But it's neat. There's three brand new Motley Crue songs, and we're gonna film it tomorrow night, and hopefully people like it.
That's
Wow,
awesome.
that yeah, I heard we covered that, and I heard the clip, and it's really riffy, really heavy. I like it.
Nah, cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
So
always down for some new crew.
what was the
Yeah.
inspiration? What was the inspiration to head back into the studio with the band?
Well, um, we'd written the songs, and then we had Bob Rock, our producer, come in and take a listen to them too, and we got some studio time and went in and recorded it. I didn't record with the band because I'm in Nashville, and they're in LA. They recorded the tracks in Nashville, and then I did like a Zoom call with the producer for for 3 days, and I did all the songs, and they turned out really well. One of them is the Beastie Boys song "Fight for Your Rights,"
Oh wow, yeah, you guys
and
always have done some great covers.
yeah, it turned out really cool.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Is this the precursor to possibly a new album? I know it'll be your first since like 2008.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if we're gonna do a whole album or not, but we'll see how these songs go first, and then we'll stay here.
Very cool. Well, I have to tell you, speaking of firsts, I was actually at the very first show with John Five, and you guys were killer. Vince, you were in perfect voice. Everybody was in tune. It was fantastic. How has that been being on the road with John and in Europe? I mean, it just seems like a glove to a hand. Really wonderful.
John is fantastic. He's a great guitar player. We could have done the set the next day after we met with him.
Wow.
He already knew all the Motley songs, and it was like this guy's ready to go, and it was just like he fit right in with what we're doing and our concepts and stuff, and he oh god, here it goes. But he was really good, and we were happy to really get him.
Yeah,
love
I
it.
saw the LA show last year, and my daughter was 12 and she was dying to go see Motley Crue. I'm like, okay, let's go. I don't care the age. I just it was fun. It was a great show, and yeah, I'm really glad that you guys have that newfound success with the younger crowd, and they're appreciating real music.
Yeah, it's just crazy. We were in Switzerland night before last, and it was more kids than adults. There were from 7 to 15 in the very front of the stadium, and everybody's singing along. They knew the songs, and it was pretty amazing that these kids who weren't born when we did our first record are loving this stuff. We have a real blessing.
That's awesome. And I think it's really cool that the music, they talk about this a lot in country music, but I think it's true in rock as well. The music has made the jump from the 80s till now. Forget the lore of Motley Crue and all the hard partying and the stuff that you guys went through that you talk about in the movie. The music made the leap, and I think that's really cool, and that's what matters. I can see now is what matters most. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I don't understand it myself, like how these young kids have really gotten into Motley Crue. I think a lot of it had to do with Dirt, you know,
Mhm.
the movie, and I think people are like, wow, these guys are still alive. We're
Mhm.
like, yeah, we're still alive
Well, I have to tell
and
you,
doing it.
speaking of young people, when my mom was in college, she went to a conference in it was either Houston or Dallas, and I meant to do a printout, but I didn't have time. She is in the crowd in the Home Sweet Home video.
Oh
So
wow, is she the one
yeah,
to put her top up?
no, 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 no. She's leaning over the edge of the
Yeah.
guardrail. She doesn't think that's her. She thinks she was further back, but I'm like, no, that's you. You made it up there. So
Ah,
she's in the video. It was
that's great.
I love it. So
Well,
go ahead, buddy.
I wonder, I knew for a while you lived in Nashville, and I just wanted to, I lived there for a couple years myself, and I loved it. But why do you think all these rockers are migrating to Nashville from LA?
I don't know. I played a concert out in Nashville before I moved out there, and everybody was like, oh, what, "You live here?" And wow, you live here? You live here? And it was like everybody lived there. And then I kind of just fell in love with the city, and that's why I bought a place out there too. And I'm from LA, but I lived in Vegas for 30 years, and the hardest thing for me was to give up my Nevada driver's license for Tennessee one. And I was like, oh, I'm really a Tennessean now.
Yeah,
Love it.
no,
Uh,
we both were just in Nashville. He was covering CMA Fest, and then I went to visit family in Missouri, and we drove down to cover another event. And it's a city that I just can't get enough of. You don't realize
Yeah,
it till you're gone.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's so beautiful out there, and we have horses and stuff, and I live in the countryside. It's great.
It's beautiful. I want to ask. I know this is kind of veering a little bit to the left of Motley, but I saw you make well, not in person, but I saw the video of you making your Opry debut. How did that
Ah,
happen? And how did you feel stepping into that circle as a rocker, being welcomed into this wonderful house of legendary country music?
it's crazy. I played the Opry twice now,
Mhm.
and the first time I went there, I was just in awe of the people that have been on that stage, and I was afraid to start singing. I thought people were gonna like get this guy out of here. I thought it was Vince Gill, you know, and I started singing, and I got a standing ovation
Yeah.
there, and it was crazy. I'm like, man, it was really nice to be like like taken in by the country people at the Opry, and it's so nice to be invited back. You know, like I think I'll probably do it again. You know,
Oh,
it'll be my third time.
I
Oh, that's
love it.
great because yeah, country music, they really embrace people. Now maybe we can get a Motley headlining show at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah, that would be. Well, that we'll have to see about that.
Or the Ryman, as a former church.
Yeah,
No, I'm just thinking now, Tommy like spinning up the barn wall on the drums.
yeah, exactly.
So what's next after Europe for you guys? I mean, the tour's going great. You're coming back here to the States for a few dates.
Yeah.
Are you going to continue with Def Leppard, or might we see a Motley stadium or arena tour? Just you guys.
We're gonna finish up, like we have 8 shows in the US, after this thing. Then we go to Australia and Japan, and then we do I think we're gonna go back in the studio for a couple more songs,
Oh, cool.
and then yes, we'll announce a new stadium tour for next summer. And
Very cool.
we're not sure who's going to be on it, but there'll be another tour.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
awesome. Awesome. Riding it high, guys, because I know I enjoyed it last year. It was really a cool group of bands that came together, and I mean, you sold all of them out, I believe.
Yeah, we did. It's just crazy that we hadn't played together since 2015, and we come back and it was like hadn't missed a beat, just got bigger. I don't know how we got bigger. We didn't play anything, but it was, it's really cool.
That's been happening. That's been happening across genres for the 80s and 90s. Like people, even if they haven't released anything or haven't toured in a couple of years, people are, I don't want to use the word nostalgia, but I think they're realizing a lot of times the music was better back then. And they're like,
Yeah.
okay, that's what I want to see. And so it's cool that you guys are back.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Everybody makes fun of the 80s. Everything, the 80s is this, the big hair and this and that. And when it gets down to it, there are some good bands and putting out some good songs in the 80s. And I'm proud to be an 80s band. You know, it was a great time of music.
Yeah, they use that term hair metal, which I know is derogatory towards a lot of people, but it's my favorite genre, the 80s hard rock there. You know, you guys with Poison, Bon Jovi, Cinderella, all those bands just, man, just does something to your soul, I think.
And all those bands are still happening. You know, they're all still on tour, and yeah, it's great to see that everybody's still kind of hanging on to the roots and doing what they did.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that you and Leopard have flipped throughout these two tours. Is it harder to come in that mid-evening set before 9:30, or is it easier to go on during daylight?
Well, I mean, you should ask Def Leppard that, because it's kind of hard to follow us.
Oh yeah. I love it. I love it.
Fair enough.
Vince,
I'm glad that we do the flip flop thing, because it's great to have them headline, we headline, and not really headline. We just swap positions every other day, so it's pretty cool.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, cannot wait for the new tracks. Well, they're out by the time everybody will see this on July 1st, or you'll have performed them. Actually, I don't think we asked you that. Are they dropping for streaming when you do the show, or are you just debuting them at the show?
That's a good question that I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye out, and we'll report it once we hear it as well.
Of course.
But man, Vince Neil, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us in London,
thank you,
right?
guys. Yeah, I'm in London right now, and we play Wembley Stadium in a couple days.
Very cool.
Oh, congrats
Very
on that.
cool. Congrats. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So have fun at the club. And again, the show is Bandit on Access TV. The finale is tonight. Vince Neil of Motley Crue, a pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man. Bye bye.
No, it was so cool to chat with him and take time from London during the tour.
He looks
and everything
good.
we got going. Yeah.
He looks good. They were saying in the stadium tour, oh my God, he's so old and overweight. No, my gosh, look at him up close. He looks good. I'm like, is that when they first signed on? I wasn't even sure if that was him or if that was the assistant. He looks good. I think the road has been really good to him. And like I said, when I saw him in Atlantic City, this is actually the shirt from the Atlantic City and the Hollywood shows for their co-headlining.
And this is
situation.
obviously last year's 2022
Right.
tour.
Vince sounded awesome. The voice was excellent. John 5 had a solo and it rocked. Tommy was perfect on drums. Nikki, of course, bringing in the bass and making the whole room vibrate. It was just awesome.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of four-piece bands or bands really that have most, if not all, of their original or long time. Because I know Leopard, it's more around long time, not so much original, but long time members that most people know. And I think that's what's really, really special about Motley is you got 3 out of the 4, and last year you got 4 out of the 4. So it's really, really cool. I mean, there are some people touring under their band's name and it's just the lead singer anymore. I found out one band that I want to go see is that situation, and I didn't know it. So I think go see them while you can. They're coming back to the States, as Vince said, and then back to the studio, and then back on the road 2025. I think they're gonna. I don't think there's going to be another retirement contract in their future whatsoever.
No, and I know they've talked before, or I think we've covered this before, where Vince had said they hope to maybe do another Vegas residency down the line somewhere. Obviously, we didn't get into all the lawsuits and stuff. I mean, that's just kind of clear. You don't.
We wanted. Well, no, we wanted to keep it upbeat. I think
Right.
he seemed chill. I think we could have asked it if we wanted to, but we'll let that play out as it's going to play out.
And I mean, it's all litigation. So what more can you say than what's already been said?
And
that
it's
we've
probably
covered.
entered the phase where, Mick gave his one interview to Rolling Stone, and a few other people have said a few things about it. But I think it's getting to the stage where everybody needs to shut their trap about it because it is pending litigation. So, but this was fun to keep it upbeat. Talk about Bandit on Access TV, new music from Motley, the Access TV show airing their finale tonight on Access TV, July 1st.
Yeah, and for those that aren't aware how that show works, 25 contenders were placed into 5 new multi-genre bands, and they have, Grammy winning and nominated songwriters, producers, and artists, kind of mentoring them. And then they go and they write, they record, and then they put, they play in front of all these judges with Vince and Kip Winger, country star Steve Azar, Kevin Lyman, who created Vans Warped Tour, and former Pink drummer Mark Schulman, among others. Were a rotating panel of judges that helped get these bands to the finale. So be interesting to see how who makes it. And you heard what Vince said; they get a record deal. So kind
Very cool.
of a cool premise.
Well, for the Music Universe podcast, I'm Matt.
And Buddy, thanks for listening and watching. Be sure to check us out at themusicuniverse.com. Like, subscribe, and share at The Music Uni, and subscribe to the podcast at tmupod.com. Take care.